Is my makeup still okay?
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
My name is Megan Weibel, and this is my recovery story. Growing up, I would say I was a pretty good kid. I tried to stay out of trouble, but I could definitely tell, now looking back, I could tell like where my mental health kind of started and my struggle with that. I always felt like my siblings overshined me. Like I was never enough. I didn't get enough attention from my parents. So like I always sought attention no matter how like I got it. I was never authentically myself. I would pretend to be whoever you wanted me to be so that I fit in and that you liked me and I was your friend. And that was all the way through high school until I graduated and on to adulthood. So now that I look back, I know that they say it's very odd for people to remember like their younger years, but I distinctively remember I was about 3 years old, and I'll never forget this day as long as I live. My brother was just born. He was an infant, and I was at my grandmother's house, and he was laying on the floor, and I was walking, and my grandmother looked at me, and she was like, "Do not." And I did. I stepped right on top of him because I was jealous. The jealousy issue of not having my parents to myself anymore. And that just kind of led into, I remember being maybe in 5th grade, and we were down in the Florida Keys, and we were driving, and somebody like upset me, and I threatened to jump out of the car because I didn't want to be there anymore. So I unlocked the door and pushed the door open. Anything to get attention.
And how did that sort of attention-seeking behavior follow you through, like, into adulthood?
So I sought attention from men through high school. It was never like I always wanted more. Then right after high school, I got married to my first husband, and we had our daughter, who's now 20. And it was a very short marriage. It lasted about 1.5 years, but we both mutually agreed to split. And then from there, I sought more attention from men, and I had another child. And then I met another husband who got married, and he had 2 children, I had 2 children, and after we got married, we had 1. So I was a stay-at-home mom, raising 5 children under 6. And that was another turning point in my life. And I just remember like going crazy, having huge anxiety attacks, panic attacks. Depression really set in because I felt like I wasn't enough for my husband. He was seeking attention from other women, and a lot of other women. And I finally mustered up the courage to leave him and move back to my parents' house. And this was in my early 30s. After moving back to my parents' house, I finally got my life on track. I, of course, only had my 3 children. But I started to get my life back on track. I started to build myself. I got a job as like a back window order taker at McDonald's, and in 2 years I worked myself up to general manager. Like I was thriving. And I met the wrong person at the wrong time, and this person introduced a substance that made me feel like on top of the world. I could take over everything. I was enough. I started losing weight. I was active, and within 3 years, it just took away everything that I built up. I lost my kids. They left me. They decided to leave me. And then I kind of ran and ran. My parents had enough. I was homeless. And they always had an open door policy, so no matter when, we could always go back and have that door and have that home. But they finally closed it. Sorry, I'm gonna get upset. And at that point, I was like living in hotels out of my car and just trying to find hope at the bottom of like a bag. And I finally, after 3 years of like just ruining my life, I finally gave up. And I always said to myself that if I was gonna get sober, and help myself. It was going to be one time and one time only. So after like this 3-month stint behind the wall of Lancaster County Correctional Facility, I decided it was enough, and I went to a rehab in Bucks County, where after rehab I got paired up with a CRS who completely changed my life. It's helped me start getting like things back on track that I needed to, and I stayed in Bucks County for about 2 years. I went to a recovery house after rehab and then sober living, and that's where I kind of like worked on myself. That's where I between my CRS and my sponsor, I did the work to figure out like what I needed to change about myself and learn coping skills in order to cope with the things that I was going through. And my mental health is by no means like cured. It's sealed up in a Ziploc bag, but it's not cured. And so after sober living, I was away from my kids for like 2 years, and that was the hardest thing to do, because even though they weren't with me, like I will always say, I can't leave my kids. I can't just leave them there. I can't be without them. But the state I was in, I was no good to them until I was better. So it took me 2 years, and then I came back home. I lived with my parents, and then I got a call from Pure Star. To this day, like, I just remember that moment where she said she wanted to hire me, and I never thought in a million years that I would ever get the chance to build my life back up. And here I am, like, just thriving. I have my children back. I have my own home again, and I'm living a purposeful life. And I've been sober since August 28th of 2022, so I'm coming up on 4 years. Moving forward, I mean, I kind of want to be the best version of myself, you know, helping people. When I first came to Pure Star, I worked in community, and just being able to be that crutch for somebody and kind of meet them where they were at. I know that feeling because somebody did that for me, and it was wonderful. But then I transferred to the SLS program, which in between like husbands, I became a certified nursing assistant, and I worked in a nursing home, and that just really touched me. And when Pure Star came to me and offered me to transfer to the SLS program, I took it, no questions, because I feel so much purpose in meeting someone where they're at and helping them accept the new version of life that they're living. It definitely feels good. Helping them set goals, because I'm an IRP specialist, so helping them set goals and giving them hope and helping them with acceptance. But I want to continue to thrive. I want to continue to live my best life for me and my children. Like I said, by no means is my mental health completely cured. About 2 months into my job with Pure Star, my dad got real sick out of nowhere and passed away. And because of the tools that I have and my sponsor, I made it through that without relapsing. Thinking back when I applied at Pure Star, I did for the mere fact that CRS changed my life completely. I mean, I was sober, but I had no clue of how to move forward with my life, because it was all like, I don't want to say brand new, but it was. And she really helped me and grounded me. And I think that's kind of what keeps me here. It's not by any means, it doesn't take over for my recovery. You know, I do separate things from work to sustain my sobriety. But I think just being able to give that back is what keeps me doing what I'm doing.